Today, we're going to be reviewing a Honda Prologue EV. A shout out to Don Ayers Honda of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We bought this vehicle from them. They not only gave us a smoking deal, it was excellent service from the very moment we walked in the door till the day we drove away. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I generally do car comparisons. Today, we're going to be reviewing this Prologue because I've owned it for 3 months, and I'm going to give you my honest take on it. First, we're going to take a quick walk around the outside, and I'm going to take a look at the exterior styling features that I love. Then we're going to get out on the inside, and I'm going to take a look and review the things that I love about the interior. Then I will give you the things that I like about the car and that I don't like about the car. And finally, I will give you my final review. Here at the front of the car, you can see Honda did a great job differentiating itself from its cousin, the Chevy Blazer EV. I like the styling of the Honda a lot better. Let's take a look. You can see daytime running lamps that are LED reflector headlights. We've got fog lights. This is the Elite Edition, so it has all the front and rear parking sensors, a 360-degree camera. Overall, I like the styling on the front a lot, and I think they did a great job with it. Here at the side of the Prologue, I think the styling really stands out. This Elite model has 21-inch wheels, actually the largest wheel that's ever been put on a Honda product. 21-inch dual color, so it's glossy black, and then you've got the chrome. You can see the styling down the side. They went with the glossy black plastic trim down on the bottom with the black handles and the black mirror as well. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I always do the gas door check. There's no gas door, but there is a power door, and this one is manually opening. And this is open whether the car is locked or not. There's no gas to steal, so it doesn't really matter. One of the features on this Prologue that's different from the Blazer EV and also the Cadillac Lyriq is this is a manually opening door. The Blazer EV and the Cadillac Lyriq, actually some people criticize it for when you push the button, it has a motor that makes the door go down and up that's real rickety, and it makes it kind of not feel such high quality. I like the simple approach that Honda took on this. Here at the back, probably the thing that stands out the most is that there's no Honda emblem in the middle. It's spelled out Honda across the back. Not sure if Honda's going to go to that across all their vehicles. My guess is they probably will just use this Honda emblem on their EVs. But I like the styling overall here on the back. There's really no bumper to speak of. It's pretty flat. It does have the rear parking sensors, as you can see. Of course, no exhaust or no tailpipe. This is the Elite model, as I've said. So this one does have the kick for the tailgate. Also, you can hit the button to open it up. Like that feature overall. You got to be careful, though, because once you're loading it up, if your foot gets under here, sometimes it activates the tailgate, so it'll come down on your head. I've had that happen once or twice. Fortunately, I dodged out of the way in time. One quirky thing here at the back is the rear wiper. This glass is really short. The rear wiper is about 8 inches long, almost useless. It clears a little bit of the window, but it's almost useless. So getting into the Prologue, unlike the Blazer EV, this Prologue has a start button. If you've watched any videos about the Prologue, you know some people like it, some people hate it. I actually like it. I'm old school, so I just like turning a car on and off. But as you can see here, the styling actually is one of those things that I absolutely love. In this car, I love the two-tone interior. You can get straight black or real dark gray. Then you can get this two-tone with the gray and the light gray or white. And then there's also dark gray with almost an orange. But overall, love the interior styling of the Prologue. One of the other nice features here on the interior is that unlike most Honda products, this is available with a panoramic glass roof. That is probably thanks to GM and the partnership with GM. So some of the features I like here on the inside, I really like the driver's information display. It is highly customizable. You can change it from your Google Maps to your just your regular driver information display. You can show the distance for your adaptive cruise control, and these things here on the left especially is customizable about what information shows there about your energy efficiency or a number of other things. I'm going here to the middle. This is a major difference between this car and, let's say, a Tesla Model Y. There's actual physical buttons for the HVAC controls, and I just happen to really like it. I'm not a huge fan of, in the Tesla, how everything has to be done through the screen. So I'm a fan of the physical buttons. I highlighted that this is a very close cousin to the Chevy Blazer EV. One of the big differences, not only in styling, but also in tech, is for the Chevy Blazer EV, it does not come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Honda put that in, big fan of that. If you've ever used Android Auto or Apple CarPlay and you're used to it, that may be a good enough reason to change over to this versus a Chevy Blazer EV. But this is mostly GM tech as far as the screen goes. It is extremely responsive. I really like how they've built this. The one thing that I will say is a real head scratcher is, you know, they've got physical buttons here. They've got the wiper controls on the stalk. They've got, you know, the gear shift over here on one of the stalks. Why in the world wouldn't they put a dome light in? You can manually activate one of the dome lights here, but in order to do the dome lights for the whole car, you actually have to go into the screen here and hit dome light. It's kind of weird. Nobody wants to do that in a hurry while they're driving down the road. I think that's a miss. That's a real head scratcher. One of the other things in this car technology-wise that actually is a real pet peeve of mine is this, the wireless charger. I have an iPhone. I usually have a case on it, and whether I don't have a case on it, whether I put it in upside down, right side up, it charges for about 3 seconds and then stops. There's other people that don't have issues with, you know, their iPhone or Android phones. Both my wife and I have the same issue. That charger right there, useless. Honda, put the charger there like you always do. Just one other thing to highlight about the interior of this car. For a smaller SUV, this really has a huge back seat. It does take away some of the space, the cargo space in the back, but the back seat here is absolutely monstrous. I bet you a person that's 6'3", 6'4", their knees wouldn't even hit the front of the seat. One of the things I love about this car is the back seat and how open it is with the panoramic moonroof in it. Love it. Just one thing more to say about the tech in this car. I really do like how it gives you a lot of information about your energy usage while you're driving. Now, I'm not driving right now, I'm sitting, so this will look a little bit different than it normally does. But I love to, while I'm driving, choose some of these screens to watch how much energy I'm using. During the winter, this percentage will look very different. The left one is actually what you're using for climate control. Middle one is to propel the car, and the right one is for when you're remote started or you're sitting still, the energy it's using. Over here on the right, once you start driving, it's going to show you all of this data, so you can see, you know, almost immediately what you're doing with the gas pedal and how it's affecting how many miles per kilowatt hour you're getting. I like this technology. I love to see, you know, how I'm doing. There's a lot of different information in here that you can see and you can use. Like it. There are a number of reviews out there for the Honda Prologue, similar to what I just did, showing you the features and the styling. Now I'm going to give you my impressions after the first 3 months of ownership. If you've liked this review, don't forget to click like and subscribe below to make sure you don't miss out on all of my car comparisons and my reviews. First, I'm going to give you the things that I don't like. The first thing that I would say that was really tough in the beginning is the range. We came from a gas car, of course. The range anxiety is real. What makes it even worse is that we bought this car in the middle of Indiana in the beginning of December. The range that's advertised on your dash, that's advertised in all the literature, is just an estimate. When you are driving fast, so when you are driving on the highway or near highway speeds, and it's 15 degrees outside, the range on this vehicle is 273 when fully charged. You would be fortunate to get 150-ish miles out of that. The range significantly goes down, not only because of the cold, but when you drive it fast, you can just watch your range go down way more than 1 mile per estimated mile. But I will say, every EV is in the same boat with that. Some are a little bit more aerodynamic than this Prologue is, but all EVs struggle to get their advertised range in the winter. It's just the nature of an EV. Like I said, we're here in Indiana in the middle of the winter. One of the features that's advertised on this car and a lot of other cars is able to start the car or the climate control via an app. I will just say the Honda Link app is probably the single thing I hate the most about this car. It works about 10% of the time. You go to try to start it, you really don't start the car, you start climate control. It loads the screen extremely slowly, and whether you're on Wi-Fi or just on the cell network, it errors out almost every time. I'm not saying the app is useless, it is mostly useless. And I don't know if that is GM technology or if that's Honda technology, but it needs to get way better. As I've said, and I'll say it again, this car is mostly a Chevy Blazer EV. It was developed by GM with some Honda input about styling and some technology and the interior and things like that. Some Prologue owners have experienced issues with the CV joints or the CV axles. We have experienced that as well. There's a little bit of knocking or clicking sound when you turn to the left. We took it in for service. The parts are on back order. A permanent fix is going to be on the way. Right now, we just deal with it. It doesn't affect the way it drives. It's just kind of annoying when you hear the clicking. I really expect Honda to issue a recall on these vehicles. Once the permanent fix is in place, they'll probably replace all the CV joints for all of the Prologues in existence. Honda's just suffering the consequences of this really being a GM vehicle, not theirs. They're just going to have to take care of their customers and fix the issue. One of the other negatives about this car is the adaptive cruise control is really good at keeping distance. The lane keeping assist is an absolute trash heap. It is useless. If you use it to try to keep yourself in lane, you know you're going to get into an accident. I have not driven a vehicle in the last 10 years with a worse lane keeping assist system than this car. It is useless and actually quite dangerous. And to wrap up the negatives about the car, I'm just going to reiterate how annoying that wireless car charger is on the inside. You might as well not even put it in there if you're going to put that technology in there. So now on to the positives. Probably the thing I love the most about this car is the styling. It's a head turner. It's not a huge SUV. It's not a premium SUV like a Mercedes or a BMW or an Audi, but it looks really sharp. They did a great job with the styling, and I absolutely love it. Sometimes in a little smaller SUV, the ride can be compromised. That is not the case here, and I don't know if it's the weight of the battery in it or just the way it's tuned, but the ride in this car is extremely gentle, though it is sporty when you get after it a little bit. Overall, I like the ride a lot. The other thing I think Honda did a good job with, actually has nothing to do with the car, is their incentive when you buy it, and that is you get 3 choices for charging. The first one is you get a home charger free of charge, and they will also help you with the installation cost on that. Included with that option, you also get 100 EVgo public charging credits. The second option is a portable charger that can plug into a regular 110 outlet or a 220 outlet. That's a much faster charging solution and one I highly recommend. If you get the portable charging solution, you also get $300 of EVgo credits. The third option is you get no charger and you get $750 of EVgo charger credits. I chose the home charger option because for me, it's not really an option where I live to go do much charging at a level 3 charger. I need to charge here at home. So the last thing that I love about the vehicle, and I know I've said it already, I think the interior styling and the technology on this car is excellent. I think they've done a really good job with making the interior soft enough and the high quality leather that's in there, but it's also very attractive. And the technology in it, I really like, and I think it does really well in this vehicle. You have multiple options for public charging. I live in a rural area, there's not a ton of options. But in most cities now, you're going to find a lot of options for doing a level 3 charging. Most GM dealerships have a level 3 charger. Some are behind a fence after hours, some are out in the open and they're public charging. GM also has signed a deal with Tesla to be able to charge their Blazer EV and also these Prologues at the Tesla superchargers. But just so you're aware, it is just the version 3 Tesla superchargers that will work with this. If you download the Tesla app and you tell it what car you have to tell it the Chevy Blazer EV, soon to come you can tell it the Prologue. It will show you what chargers are near you that are compatible with your vehicle. If you live more in an urban environment and you don't have the ability to install a charger at your home or your apartment, you're going to be stuck doing level 3 chargers. My recommendation is if you do that, check ahead of time before buying this vehicle. what ones are available to you, and at what speed they charge. Owning this vehicle has been a little bit of a learning curve. The first time my wife drove 45, 50 miles away, it was cold. She got down there and was not going to have enough charge to get back home. It took her about an hour and a half to find a level 3 charger at a Cadillac dealer to charge up enough to get back home. So just be aware when you're buying a vehicle like this, and I don't care if it's a Honda or a Kia or a Cadillac or a Tesla, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for you. Just accept it. For right now, this is 2025. This model is a 2024 model. GM and Honda have gone together for a few years to create this model. I believe Honda did that, and many people also agree that Honda did it as a stopgap until they get their next generation of EVs on the market. These vehicles have a range of somewhere between 270 to 330 miles, depending on the trim and depending on if you get all-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. And in case you have not looked it up, solid-state battery technology will change the landscape of vehicles across the board. Most of the vehicles that have solid-state batteries in them will be able to go 600 or 700 miles on a single charge and be able to recharge from 0 to 80% in 10 minutes. But just know that technology is not here yet, and it is not affordable for these manufacturers to put into a car yet. So now I will give you my overall take on my Honda Prologue. It's been 3 months of driving. There has been very little that I dislike about the car. The whole range anxiety when it's been cold has probably, for me, been the biggest issue, as well for my wife. There's some range anxiety, but we're getting used to it and we're learning to adapt to it. If you've decided to get an EV, you have a lot of options now. You could go with a Kia, or you could go with the Hyundai, or you could go with the Cadillac Lyriq, a little bit more expensive version of the Blazer EV. You could go with the Blazer EV. You could go with an Acura ZDX, or you could go with a Tesla Model Y. You have a lot of options. GM created the Chevy Blazer EV 2 years ago, and it won the North American SUV of the Year for Motor Trend in 2024. About a year ago, I reviewed that with the Ford Mustang Mach-E EV, and I really believe that the Chevy Blazer EV is a better vehicle than the Mach-E. I think Honda has taken that Blazer EV and upped it one level to this car. I really like this Prologue. My experience with it has been really good. There's a couple of little pain points, a couple of little things I don't like, but overall, I would highly recommend this Prologue. Normally with my comparison videos, I say, I know which one I would choose. Which one would you choose? I will just say, I would choose this Prologue again and again. Let me know your thoughts and your comments. If you own a Prologue, tell me about your experience. If you're thinking about a Prologue and you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments. If you've liked this review, don't forget to click like and subscribe below to make sure you don't miss out on all of my car comparisons and my reviews.
This is the 2024 Honda Prologue Elite all-wheel drive. It has 288 horsepower, equipped with dual motors. The range is 273 miles. It goes from 0 to 60 in 6.0 seconds. It has the Honda Sensing Safety System, which includes forward collision alert, auto emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, rear cross traffic alert, rear cross traffic braking, a 360-degree camera, and many other things. This comes with a Bose premium audio system with 12 speakers. The MSRP is approximately $59,800.